recommended me to watch this video. End of expansion review with Method Kana. Do you guys want to see the review of the Legion raids? I kind of want to watch this. I don't know, like, it's got 22,000 views. At least it's pretty good. Yeah, all right, we'll see what this is, okay? Garrosh did nothing wrong. Can we get in chat a Garrosh did nothing wrong, please? Just so I can make sure that I'm, look at the description. I don't need to. Like, the thing is, like, I know what's true. I know. Garrosh did nothing wrong. Okay, thank you, guys. Good. All right, let's see what this is. Method.
Hey everyone, Kana here. In this video,
what's this music, dude? Was he about to announce his dog died?
Here.
Look at that, hear that, listen.
Hey everyone, Kana here. In this
I feel like it's about to start crying. Wow. Okay, all right, let's start it up.
In this video, I'm talking about Legion from a raider perspective, how it felt as a hardcore raider, good things and bad things each tier, giving you my overall thoughts on the convention on the whole from a raiding perspective. I just want to make sure to state the obvious that this is of course the opinion piece, and I would love to hear below in the comments what you agree and disagree on, including your own take on Legion as a whole. Let's get into the video. For every hardcore raider, the release of an expansion is a very important part, and this is where our grind starts, with multiple characters being leveled and all the plans that we prepped from playing alpha and beta put into motion. There really is no better time to be a raider. The release
video volume is actually low. I thought you guys were just saying a bunch of stupid ass shit. Okay, how about
of Legion was super smooth with the least lag I've experienced.
How about this?
The zones
Is this
were
good?
Quick and at a good pace, and I personally did not find them annoying at all. The bonus objectives were worth doing.
This is more good.
Was not very hard to keep up with. Overall, from a leveling perspective, I really enjoyed how Legion turned out.
Yes.
It stood out more than most expansions. However, the real downside of Legion from a hardcore raider point of view were the systems added, namely artifact power, legendaries, and titan forging. With Heroic Emerald Nightmare, the Mythic Plus being released in week 3, the Mythic being released in week 4, the original plan for Method was 5 characters, and some people would level multiple characters of one class, me for example, while others leveled 5 different classes. The bonus to leveling multiple of one was the legendary rule. I personally leveled 3 shamans, 1 demon hunter, and a feral.
What?
The first issue ended up being legendaries. I know in fact over the course of the expansion,
oh my
multiple
God,
Method raiders rerolled to an alt of the same class because it got a better legendary. Examples.
So let me explain how this works, okay? Because a lot of people probably don't understand this. The way that the legendary system used to work is that after you got your 4th legendary, you stopped getting bad luck protection for legendaries. So there were people with 5, right? There were people with 5, but everybody basically was stuck at 4. So not only did they not have bad luck, it was basically good luck protection. Good luck protection. That was the logic, and this was intentional that Blizzard did. This is to show how out of touch they were with Legion and these systems. Good luck protection.
Being me, Andrew, and later on even Scribe or Raid Leader. From a raider perspective, this was incredibly frustrating, knowing I've put so many hours of hard work into the game on that one specific character, then only have it thrown away by RNG of a legendary drop on an alt.
See?
Over what I would consider my main.
That's right.
Also, the imbalance of legendaries was extremely poor. Think Fire Mace Bracers, Shadow Priest Belt Bracers, and how bad Price and Sebas were at the start. Put that alongside the 4 legendary kept the habit early on, and the obtain your 2nd legendary really easy bug that happened early on as well. Overall, I think legendaries in the early expansion were extremely disappointing.
Oh shit, he's getting up.
My class, we gave a high amount of feedback on the balance.
He got a Ferocious Gladiator satin hood.
Only 2 or 3 legendaries.
Oh my God.
Useful. However, they did change it up later by a lot. Currently, when watching for example Mythic Plus, the amount of legendary combinations available are very pleasant to see. And I do enjoy the min-max part in terms of them. I also have to say I found a very good fix for Prides and Savas being global legendaries. They're wanted, but not 100% based in all situations.
Okay.
The later issue became Titan Forging. Around 4 days before Heroic Week, Week 3, Blizzard made it so that Mythic Plus can't Titan Forge past 850 item level, basically reducing the effect of farming Mythic Plus on your main and increasing the effect of splits.
That's right.
With a quick guild meeting, we decided almost 2 weeks into the expansion, a 6th character was needed.
6 characters. Think about that. You need 6 characters to be able to play in this skill. That's insane. The video we watched in Garage was an April Fool's joke. Well, if it was a joke, then why was it true? It's not a joke to me at all. It was true. Like, I'm not laughing. Who's laughing? Yeah, how is an April Fool? Like, what did he say that was wrong? Nothing. So yeah, no, I don't give a fuck. No, it was true. The whole thing was fucking true. Everybody. It's true.
But even during Heroic Week, Mythic Plus Storm was still very much worth it.
That's right.
As every trait that you obtained uses both your damage and survivability. This made it to the point there was no cap, and it showed the most hardcore players out there.
There's no way they're gonna kill it.
For example, the average trait in Method was around 25 in this time, while for example Noga, who played Hunter, got 27. And with the result of Emerald Nightmare being over in one day, I'm pretty sure this was the most disappointing start of an expansion for the Hardcore Raider. Again, knowing we put in all the time and effort into the grinding and working on something just to be let down. I do still think Emerald Nightmare was overall a fun tier. Some bosses were mechanically interesting, especially Il'gynoth and Cenarius were fun to play.
Yeah.
Just the overall shooting and saviors were a bit of a letdown. The follow-up to Emerald Nightmare was Thrall of Valor, both being the best and the worst part of the expansion for me personally. The Ordefic grind of Thrall of Valor was the hardest out of all of them. The 35th trait gave you a flat 5% damage increase. This is also where the Maw of Souls carry run started. The farm for this one came quite late, as most people did not expect to be able to reach it, but once a couple of people did the math and figured out you could, the grind really started. Now, with farming, I mean...
So let me explain how this worked. So basically, here's how it did. The 35th artifact trait gave you, as you guys know, like 5% extra damage. And you basically needed that 5% extra damage to be able to push enough numbers on Gwarm to be able to kill him pre-nerf, right? So what people did is that's whenever they really started farming Maw of Souls. And you basically needed that 5% to push through. And a lot of guilds also needed the 5% for Croesus too, even though Blizzard said specifically that they designed them without 54 traits in mind besides Elisande and Gul'dan. Right? This is what it was.
7 to 8 hours minimum each day.
8 hours minimum farming Maw of motherfucking Souls. For 35, it wasn't even 54, it was 35 traits just to get this arbitrary fucking number.
And for people who had a job like me, this was not something you could complete in time.
That's right.
Method also made this a non-requirement, but that really just goes to show the amount of time and effort that goes into being hardcore raiding. The other issue was the 4 legendary cap, where for a good amount of time, you were not able to receive more than 4 legendaries. Me being lucky, I got my 2 best in slot, while plenty of others managed to loot 3 or 4 useless ones. When we found out about this cap, this was of course a massive frustration, as we actively farmed these without being able to get them, and
the best part about this is that they didn't say this. Blizzard didn't say this. So it's like, imagine if like one day Blizzard, just to be funny, they were like, yeah, we're gonna take Invincible off the drop table for Lich King, right? And they don't tell anybody. They're just like, oops. And they do it, and then people are farming Lich King over and over and over and over and over again, until maybe a month later, people start talking to each other, hey man, I haven't gotten an Invincible yet either. And Blizzard finally says, oh yeah, we did this, now we'll change it. So they didn't tell people this on purpose, just to keep them playing the game. Because they could have just said how the system worked, but they lied. Like, this is a crucial point in the system, crucial element of the system that Blizzard didn't even say.
Knowing about it. However, after all of this, Thrall of Valor still turned out to be one of the best raids in my opinion. Very short but well tuned. Odin being harder bosses than most bosses in Emerald Nightmare, Thorn being a big check for both healers and DPS, and Helya being one of my favorite bosses in Legion.
What a
Tidal Forging also became less of an issue in Thrall of Valor, as Helya dropped max item level items. The farm for Thrall of Valor was decently chill, with a couple of Emerald Nightmare splits and maximum 2 Thrall of Valor splits.
That's right.
Next up is Nighthold, in my opinion the highlight of Legion raiding. Unless you were extremely unlucky, you should have had one of your better legendaries by now.
Nighthold was alright.
Of course, a couple of people were still missing their best in slots, but overall it did feel a lot better. The artifact farm also got a lot better. Farming up your main spec to 54 traits was a requirement we had in Method, and it was relatively easy to achieve, around 250 mob soul runs.
Imagine how fucking shitty it was if Relatively Easy was running the same dungeon 250 times. It's relatively easy, guys. I mean, you just have to do it 4 hours a day. That's it.
Personally, I went for 2 specs to 54, and some extreme people, knowing for example Deep Shades, managed to farm up 3 specs to 54.
I had 2, actually.
Nighthold length was very well done, taking a weekend and a half to complete. The bosses were tuned hard, but not impossible, with Elisan being my number 1 boss of the expansion. She had a mechanic check, coordination check, and a DPS check all in one, and my only complaint is being that she was 2 and 3 healed. The farm for Nighthold was extreme, as most people caught up to the legendary blast of doing all content. This means LFR, normal and heroic and mythic of each tier, also doing all mythic zeros.
Oh, that's a Golarn. Okay.
Mythic splits also went insane, to the point where in the last weeks we were running 7 mythic splits. At the end of Nighthold is where people who actively farmed their legendaries started hitting the cap of all legendaries.
7.
I myself only had 1 elemental one left and a couple of restoration ones. But I know for example people like Jinji and Noga who had legendaries for all specs.
That's insane.
Overall, as mentioned, Nighthold was my favorite tier in terms of raiding. Well designed bosses, good tuning, and only 1 boss that was annoying, Botanist.
Okay.
Even that was mostly because of the amount of trash it took to get there.
Yo, fuck Botanist.
It was a very active tier with a lot of farming, but still came out on top for me. Next up, Tomb of Sagaris. Artifact farming felt extremely nice. Once you reached the max amount of trades, you only really had to farm a Concordance. And as Concordance was not a massive DPS increase, the requirement was to just farm up all traits and the first level of it.
I think Concordance was better than the 54 traits, although I don't like an infinitely scaling thing. I like being able to finish, right? And you're just done. You're done. You can just vendor your AP, and you're done with that part of the game. I don't like things that go on forever. That's me personally.
Also, legendaries were mostly being farmed, and only 2 new legendaries were added. But because they were added a week before Tomb of Sagaris got released, it was very easy to farm them up before the Mythic race. Overall, Tomb of Sagaris had massive issues on release, in both Avatar and Kil'jaeden being broken on release, massive class stacking being required, especially in terms of rogues, and frustrating bosses in Maiden who would just one-shot your raid if anyone made a mistake.
That's right.
Also, the fact Mistress got cheesed and then made harder to fix the cheese is some guilt off. Tomb was my least favorite tier this expansion overall. Even though, at the end of the tier, Kil'jaeden and Avatar became decent fights to play, the fact it lasted 3+ weeks and the original state left a sour taste in most raiders' mouth. Outside of Tomb, there were 2 more issues that did not help the tier. One being, raid testing came extremely early. After 3 weeks of playing a tier, you want to take a small break from the game, which unfortunately we did not get. Right after the tier, raid testing for Taurus started. Now, you know it's early when guilds like Method decide to skip testing, because they want a break from the game. Second,
so I don't think that's an issue. Number one is like Blizzard should, what are they going to do, delay the testing because like one guild didn't kill the bosses fast enough? Like, do they need to change the schedule of the entire raid release because one guild, you know, hasn't killed the bosses yet? I think they should release content in the method that they think they should release content in, right? It's kind of silly to consider that an issue, right? Content was too fast. Well, at a certain point, I mean, if you want to make playing the game like this a lifestyle, I don't think Blizzard really should consider like, okay, well that's what we need to structure our release schedule around, right?
being that the MDI got released shortly after as well. I like Mythic Plus, and the MDI was a very cool thing to see. However, it was released too quickly. Trying to qualify with raiders from top 5 guilds was the most frustrating thing, as most of them were raiding every day, and you just had no time to practice. The first MDI would have been a lot cooler if it came a month later, as most hardcore players who would have wanted to qualify were done at that point.
I completely agree with this, and this is a mistake that they made with the first MDI, is that whenever it came out, the people that were in very, very hardcore raiding guilds for Mythic TOS had such a big advantage over the people that didn't, because the tier was so early on, people didn't really reach that diminishing returns, like, kind of plateau of gear, like they do at the end of every tier, kind of how it is now, right? People that raided a lot had such a big advantage over the people that didn't.
Then the final tier of the expansion, Antares the Burning Throne. With no new legendaries added and a requirement of 75 traits that you farm passively, I managed to farm 7 specs to 75 traits before progress, without feeling like I had to farm an insane amount. Maybe 2 to 4 hours each of world questing. The prep for Antares, because this was very chill. Only mythic splits you really had to worry about.
Okay.
Antares overall felt like a meh to okay tier. It lasted just longer than a week, but that's because of the hard tuning on Argus.
Trade window?
First issue being that the first 9 bosses were a complete walkover.
I have this.
Within 20 hours of the tier being released for EU, Egamar died to Method. But normally the second to last boss dies around the weekend. Or
look at that, just, you know, nonchalant, like, oh yeah, they died to Method, you know, it's us. You know, not a big deal, but yeah, you know, we killed them.
Just after the weekend. In the first week. The final issue being that Argus became an immunity stacking fight, because of the ways how chains of Zagaras worked. I have to say, I do currently enjoy killing Argus, as the boss did not receive many nerfs, and it still feels like you have to play the boss, but you just kill it faster. Rather than kill Jaden, where they nerfed all the mechanics to be half. Antares overall is an okay tier to farm, but definitely not my favorite tier. Overall, I do rate Legion as a good expansion. There was a lot to do, but sometimes it went overboard, and I did wish Blizzard listened better to the feedback regarding legendaries early on. It all worked out in the end, and even the latest legendary and artifact farms were really chill. It required you to play the game,
I would agree with
but
that.
nothing to a level none can do.
Yeah.
In terms of the tier, best to worst for me in Legion, I would say number 1 Nighthold, number 2 Thrall of Valor, number 3 Ataris, number 4 Emerald Nightmare, and number 5 Tomb of Zagaras. That about rounds up everything I have to say about Legion. If you're curious about any of my opinions on BFA and want to see an opinion video again, if you enjoyed this whenever it's about shamans or anything else, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, remember to hit the like button and subscribe, enabling notifications to never miss out on Method content. Again, this was Kana from Team Method. You can find me at twitch.tv/Kana, and all links for me are in the video description. Thanks for watching and have a great day.
That was an okay video. What did you guys think? I think I kind of like I kind of agree, right? I mean, with a lot of that stuff. The only thing I would say on Taurus is better than TOV, right? Just because TOV is only like 3 bosses. But other than that, I think it's definitely true. The only like contention that I would have is the raid testing thing, right? I don't think raid testing is really an issue. If it happens really fast, then it happens really fast. I mean, it's not, I don't think it really matters.